the Thoughtful Gardener, and for all the thoughtful gardeners out there who participated in, if zombies were going to be at your house, what is the gardening tool you would find irreplaceable? I really appreciate all your comments. It was a lot of fun to watch. But you also introduced me to some new things, and the reason I'm sharing this on the channel is we are coming up against another warning of supply chain challenges. You might want to get it before it's not available, and we're finding out that perhaps this supply chain could be here right after Halloween. Woo, that's scary. So, and before you actually need it, you might want to buy it so you have these tools. Should we have an apocalypse, or should we have a supply chain disruption for your gardening shed? So let me share my screen as well as my Amazon page, which it helps support this channel. So here we go. This is my Amazon channel. If you like to support this channel, you can go to amazon.com, The Thoughtful Gardener, and you can see all of my lists, but this one I put together based on your feedback of what you find irresistible in your own gardens, especially if we were to be attacked by zombies. This one I think is actually a great idea. I don't have a sickle, but it's interesting. I was just asked where you could buy one. So clearly this is a must-have for most gardeners, especially if you're clearing a lot of brush. The Amish in this area use it to actually harvest their corn. So it's great for harvest because you can cut down a lot of things with one swipe. Now, I happen to like this one because it's foldable and you can put that blade away, especially if you've got little people in your house. This is not a garden tool you'd want somebody playing with because you see how sharp that blade is. It could definitely hurt someone or a zombie. Either way, we want to be careful with our garden tools. So I like this one is that it has that. Now, in case you need to chop a zombie up, one of you suggested that maybe we should have a chipper shredder. I actually think that's a great idea this time of year for all the limbs that are falling and your leaves. Now, if the leaves are falling on your property, I think you should leaf it on your property. Literally, leaves are food for your plants, and certainly I rake them up and put them behind my area where there's a big group of shrubs. And the reason for that is I want to overwinter any bugs, butterflies, or next year's insects. And about 85% of the butterflies here in Pennsylvania live in the leaf litter. So I don't chop mine up. I do put some in my compost pile. And then once it gets past 50 degrees, I will use that to mulch my beds. But this makes quick work out of cleanup in the fall. And while I leave my pollinator garden standing, I do realize that many of you live in homeowners or are in townships where leaving leaves on the lawn is unsightly. And so if you don't have the space to leave them, you could chop them and use them as fuel for your garden beds. So this one is actually very reasonably priced. So let me know what you think. I think that's a really cool idea. Another one that you guys thought was a must-have was this tool I had never heard of, which I think I want one now, called a homie. It is a handheld hoe, a very sharp blade. Again, could probably be dangerous if you have little people, or if you're a clumsy gardener, you might want to be careful with this. But I was told that this is fantastic for harvesting, and it's great for digging out weeds. Now, I happen to use another tool, and many of you absolutely love the idea of having a hoary knife. Now, I blame the master gardeners for this one, but I just bought one for my mom because I think this is a must-have tool. It is fantastic for weeding. It's great for separating the roots of root-bound plants. It's awesome for digging. And this one has actually a measuring stick on it too. So if you're gonna be planting those fall bulbs, that might be helpful for getting those bulbs in the ground. Comes with a nice sheath, and you can then wear that on your hip. In my case, I have it right on my garden apron because I do use it so much. This is the best $21 you'll ever spend. I sincerely recommend you have one if you haven't gotten one. You can't beat a good pair of sharp shears. And I was doing a garden down in North Carolina and borrowing tools, and I actually ordered these for my mom because her tools were so bad. She has a tendency to hang on to things, and I come from a long line of people who do that. So sharp shears are a wonderful thing to have in your shed and could potentially be used to cut off really spooky long fingers should the zombies show up at your place. For real though, we're just being facetious here, right? We're not gonna cut anybody's fingers off. I also love my gardening boots. I go everywhere in these boots, use them to stomp around in my tiny forest in the creek, but I love that these are completely waterproof. I think too, they've got a steel shank in them, so if you had to kick a zombie, you could kick them pretty hard. But I think that if you are working in the garden, this is the way to keep yourself clean and dry. Also keeps you away from critters. So if you were to accidentally step where a critter might be, it might prevent you from getting bitten, which would not be so good. And I have been out in the garden in sandals, walking around with someone and stepped right beside a snake. And that is not a good feeling whatsoever. So I always feel a lot more confident wearing these tall boots. I also think that for the zombie apocalypse, you guys all felt like you needed a good shovel. Now, I think lightweight shovels are the way to go, and I prefer a smaller shovel because Thoughtful Gardener is not a very big person. But get one to your size, and I definitely believe that if you can get one that is made out of carbon, that makes it a lot lighter for you. So it's easier to carry and use all day. You'll find yourself getting less tired. So fiberglass shovel, if you can afford it, is the way to go. And this one has a nice sharp spade on it, which will be good for getting rid of the zombie pieces if you have to. Just kidding. This one was actually given to me over Christmas last year by a friend who's a gardener. It's called a root slayer. And let me tell you something, I didn't know I needed a root slayer till I had a root slayer. I have some really bad soil on this property from where they cleared it to put the house. It's rock hard like concrete, and this cuts through it like butter. So if you are dealing with a very rooty area, or you're dealing with a compacted soil and you need to use something to get that soil or roots out, this thing is the bomb diggity. And I really like it. I have this skinny version. I'd also like to have a wider version. So just keep that in mind, depending on what it is that you're trying to dig out. So I just wanted to share these with you. This was a really fun post, and I really appreciate all the comments. It was really fun to see what you find essential in your garden, especially if we were to have a zombie apocalypse. But a supply chain disruption is probably more realistic, and I want you to be ready. So with that being said, there are links in the comments below. They do support this channel. Full disclosure, I do this as a hobby, so this helps me to make videos and content, and I am happy to make more content for you if you'll let me know what you're interested in. So check out the links below. If you could please support the channel, if you're going to buy any of these things that we're recommending, I would greatly appreciate it if you do it through my Amazon affiliate link. Garden thoughtfully and take care.